Well, hello there. My name is Vinay and you guys know me from Instagram as Wink Photography, and today we're gonna edit this into this. Let's go. So before I get started, this is basically an introductory episode into a series that I'll be calling The Edit Breakdown. Kind of sounds good. So in the edit breakdown, we're basically going to talk about how I have edited the images that I've uploaded on my Instagram feed, which you guys can of course go and check out at Wing Photography. Most importantly, it's not going to deep dive into the techniques and stuff. I'm assuming you know some of this stuff, so I'm just going to go quickly breeze through the edit. It's a breakdown, it's not really a sort of tutorial. So keep that in mind, but nevertheless, in this series itself, I'll be uploading a lot of episodes where I show you how I use the tone curves, how I use HSL, camera calibration, blah, 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 white balance. But keep in mind one thing, the edit starts from the shoot itself. So while you're shooting the image, you need to be adjusting the light, the mood, the expression, the colors in a way that sort of is going to work with the edit you're going to create on the image. So yeah, keep that in mind. So without further ado, let's edit, shall we? Yeah, okay. Okay then, so coming down to the actual process of editing. It's important to understand that the image was shot in a particular way so that it could be edited in a particular way. And that is the most important thing to consider whenever you are actually shooting something and the way that you set up for it. Now, in the editing, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and that was to basically make the image very warm to begin with. The first step in the editing process is to basically shift everything to the warm side. Of course, we're going to lower down the contrast, we're going to lower down the clarity as well, and we're going to increase and push the dehaze up a little just to get that color pop from the image. In the basic parametric adjustments, we're just adjusting the highlights, tweaking everything, not moved on to curves for this for the first step. Right now, it's important to basically make sure the image is as red and as warm as it can be. So we're going to move to color calibration, and we're going to get that sorted in color calibration by tweaking the blues and, well, the yellows and the reds. Of course, it's all trial and error. There's no way to know how the image is going to change because it's a particular tone that we're trying to look for, so you just have to play with trial and error. So once the images become warm enough, we can actually go to curves and then adjust the way that we want the warmth to feel like. This is basically pushing the contrast up a bit so we can get the darks to look darker. Now we're going to tweak the blue curve as well because we want to create as much warmth as we can in this. So we're going to move down the midtones to yellow, and we're going to move the overtones down to yellow as well. And the reason for that is because the highlights, we don't want anything blue in that. We have to make them yellow because the highlights are basically going to be on the shirt or the face. It's basically going to help with better blending over the midtones and highlights over her shirt and her face. Now I'm going to push the green curve around as well because the highlight and midtones kind of want a bit of green in there just to get that jaded look. So this is going to make it look less warm and sort of this sunset yellow, if I may. And that comes by pushing a bit of a green in it. Because the image has a lot of play in the darks and shadows, it's going to be right to give it some color. The color that I had in mind was basically this green blue sort of color, and that's what we've tried to push in with the curves by crushing the blacks on the green curve and the blue curve. Okay, so then we move on to HSL and we just try and tweak the hues a bit of the orange and reds. This is going to be a major play on saturation because that's where we get to control the amount of color in the frame, especially the amount of yellow and the amount of red. So we're going to do that. We're going to move the blues around a bit as well, just to kind of darken or lighten the darker shadow areas that we have. Luminance is also going to play an important role as it will help us pop the model and pop the red tones and accents from the projector, and therefore that's what we do in the luminance as well. Always remember, keep doing a before and after to see your progress and to see if you're going in the right direction. Very important. So while editing, I kind of had a feeling that if I shifted the tint to the green side a bit, it's going to make everything consolidate better into the frame, the kind of colors that I was using, instead of pushing it towards magenta or where it was actually standing neutral. So I moved the tint to a bit of green. We of course have to add our greens and everything, add the texture. That's not going to change the color and the kind of quality of the image. This is going to add a bit of texture. So add the grains from beginning, and let's move on to some split toning. Now we know that our image is sitting very, very heavily onto the yellows and reds. Adding a bit of blue back into the image in split toning is just going to sort of bring the overall warm effect a little down, and that was the play in split toning over here, just to somehow tweak the parameters and the saturation of a blue hue back into the image to neutralize the image, to give it that flavor that we're looking for, that slightly muted warms. And that's what we did in split toning. But as of now, we have made a base preset and it works. We're going to save it, and there you have it. It's done. It's also sometimes important to keep checking how your image looks based on other presets that you have created. Sometimes the presets that you have created for other images kind of may work again well on this one. So I kept trying and seeing if the preset that I created right now is better than the one that I otherwise could have used from my previous presets. And as it turns out, it works. It looks good. So we're going to proceed with the preset that we've just created. It's got the right amount of blues, it's got the right amount of yellows and reds, and I like it. The previous preset that we had sort of had a very strong red accent, and I was not liking it that much. I wanted the warms and I wanted the blues to be sort of holistic in the image. And there you have it. We're done. And that's how it was done. It's not very complicated, to be very honest, but you just need to have a bit of an idea of what each parameter, what each tab, what each editing tool does for you while you're color grading the image. So it's not difficult at all. Just keep practicing, take an image, edit it in 100 different ways, and it's very, very easy. It will come to you very naturally. Yeah. Anyways, with that, it's a quick short video. It's not going to be very long. This is not going to talk about the story of my life. This is just going to be an editing breakdown. All the episodes in this series are going to be hopefully short, and they'll hopefully show you how I have edited the images and how you can use some of the editing tools that are available to you in Camera Raw, Lightroom, blah, 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 whatever you use to edit on your phone and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and you can follow me on my Instagram. Go to your phone right now and follow me right now. Just kidding. It's alright. You can subscribe to the YouTube if you want to. And I shall see you in episode number 2, where we'll edit another image from one of the shoots that I've done for my Instagram. Ciao!